Hi, welcome. It's time for another town hall with me, Susan Maud Buchser-Lochocki. I'm running for President of the United States as a write-in candidate, and this is a town hall and campaign update. Welcome. So I'm just going to close this screen behind you so that I don't have so many funny lights in my eyes, and then we'll get started. Welcome. So, yeah, I just had a few sort of private time myself recently. I had to pick my mom up in Old Forge, New York. So I was there picking her up, and I had to bring her back to Cincinnati and area. And then I also went to my high school reunion. 40 years I've been out of high school, and it was nice to see everybody, and it was well organized, so thank you. And we had a little visit to our local, or our old school, our old high school, and saw all sorts of improvements that they did and things of that nature. So anyway, it was nice to see the place and see what's going on there. Yeah, that happened in Pittsford, New York. And then last week, I think it was, last week, I was in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, to bring awareness to the wrongfully convicted people. I know I've met some men who were wrongfully convicted and spent years and decades even behind bars when they were actually innocent. And they could finally prove their innocence, which was amazing. But there's more, and there are probably also some women who are behind bars who are innocent. So this is not acceptable. A lot of the people behind bars, I've heard that there is a majority of darker skinned people. So, we need to, anyway, be careful whenever we judge somebody. We want to make sure that we're putting the right person in prison. And, anyways, that I'm planning a big prison criminal justice reform, where we need to legalize drugs and distribute them in a safer way to our citizens so that they don't accidentally have overdoses, and that they can be adults. Because right now, we've decided, a whole group of people have decided that certain things are illegal, and we are restricting our adults from being adults. And I guess this is a good time to give this warning. There are certain strands of marijuana out there now, or wax, or whatever it is, that cause temporary paralysis for about 5 or 6 hours. And since we're moving into the winter season, I am giving this warning: do not smoke this product outdoors in freezing weather, or when it's going to be freezing weather, because you will be paralyzed for a good 4, 5, 6 hours, and that will be enough time to kill you in the freezing cold weather. So you will be paralyzed, and then you will freeze to death. So be careful. If you're going to smoke it indoors, in a garage, someplace where there's heating. Certainly not in a car in a garage, because then you'll die of something else, of gases from your car. So you don't want to do that either. My job as president would be to keep the citizens safe, and that's why I'm giving this warning. Now, I know in some states smoking marijuana is legal, and I know in other states it's still illegal. And some states it's only legal to smoke in for medicinal purposes, but still, be careful, okay? Be careful. Making marijuana legal in all states is one of my things I want to do, because it's a social drug, and it also helps with a lot of hyperactive things. I'm not exactly sure because I'm not a doctor, but I think it would be better and safer for our citizens to get it from a safe distribution area rather than off the street. So I want to take the street out of street drugs, and I want to allow us adults to be adults, to have choice. And why not enjoy certain medicinal medicines or medicinal things that are out there? People say drugs, but a lot of these things were also created to help with mental illness. So it is really important to let adults have these opportunities, but have them in a safe way. And like I said, as president, that is my job, to make sure my citizens are safe. With that said, we have a bad storm coming into Florida, and we're still recovering from already a bad hurricane that hit some southern states. So be careful, be smart, stay away from any downed electrical wires, and if it gets really bad, well, first off, follow the instructions of your state. If they say to evacuate, then you should probably evacuate. And those who are in the cleanup mode from Helena, then I hope it's going well, and I hope a recovery is found somewhere, and help gets to you. And then for those who are just going through this new storm now, follow the instructions. If they say to leave your area, then you should probably do it. We never know how strong these storms are going to be, so it's better to play safe than sorry, right? All right. Then about the election. So I think the best thing to do is to vote for who you think will do the best job for the country. And this is not only for president, this is also for, Senate, for House, for your local governor, Attorney General, Secretary of State. Vote for who you think will do the best job. I can't 100% recommend the Democrats or the Republicans, because they've been the only ones in control of our country and our states for decades upon decades, for like 100 years. We still have a lot of corruption and frivolous laws and everything. They've been collecting money, just trying to look busy, making frivolous laws for a long time. And so we need big changes in our country to go forward. We cannot go forward this way. But if you're happy with how they're sending money overseas and then don't have it for our own people, then if that makes you feel good, then vote for a Democrat or a Republican. But if you see what I see, that they're more concerned with keeping their lobbyists happy and not taking care of the people, then it's time for a change. So vote anyone other than Democrat and Republican, because they're not strong enough to leave their party and to be the change that needed to be. So yeah, We have like a couple of possibilities. One thing, and I know that some of you have done this because we're hearing about it now, become unregistered. Write that letter, call your county clerk and find out how to do it and become unregistered. You, as a citizen, can always vote. Your state will have to have a way for you to vote. And don't take no for an answer. If they say that you can't vote, even though you're a U.S. citizen, that's a lie. On November 5th, you should still be able to walk in that door and vote. Now, in some states, they're going to force you to register to vote before voting. Some states will let you do some sort of a ballot, but supposedly that's going to go before some sort of a board. Now, the board, I don't know why it's going before a board. Because if I walk in and show a passport, and if I walk in and show a driver's license, then it's clear I'm a U.S. citizen from the passport, and it's clear I'm living where I am because I have a driver's license. So there should be no board involved in my vote, because I can prove right here and now that I am a citizen. And you probably can too. But the point is, I was told that my vote, if I do a provisional ballot in West Virginia, it's going to go before a board. So if I don't, what does that mean? If I don't vote the way they want me to vote, they're going to throw out my ballot? I'm going to be reporting this to the FBI because I don't think a board of anybody should be looking at my ballot and deciding if my vote gets counted or not. I am a citizen. I can prove my citizenship and my address, and my vote should be counted no matter what. There's no question. That's what our liberty is. Our liberty is not to have a board look at it and decide, oh, maybe we'll count it. Our liberty is to have our vote counted, period. That's what it is. So, I highly recommend that everyone continue to become unregistered in your state. Then, once your name is off the list, they cannot mess with it. They cannot fake your name. They can't misspell it. They can't fake the address. They can't do anything. But then you need to go in with the appropriate documents and vote. You'll maybe have to show your registered, or not, sorry, registered. You'll have to show your passport or a birth certificate. Then you show your current driver's license if you have one, or some sort of ID, whatever they are accepting, to show your address. And then if you're a woman and you've changed your last name, you might need to bring in the document that shows that you changed your name at some point, if your name is not the same as your birth certificate. But a birth certificate that says that you were born in California, or that you were born in Hawaii, or that you were born in Florida, those mean, if it says that, you are a citizen. And so you can show that, and they have to accept it. And the point is, again, if you show that you are a citizen, they have to count your vote. There's no question. No board needs to look at anything. There's no board involved. You are a citizen. Your vote needs to be counted, period. So, I don't know where West Virginia's getting off with this, oh, well, you do a provisional ballot and then the board will decide if they'll count it. That's manipulation. That's fraud. FBI, where are you? So, anyway, and if you see or know of anything, regardless of what it is, the FBI has a tips page online. It's very easy to go there and fill out the information and give them the details of people and officials doing fraud. So if you have to report your Secretary of State, or if you have to report your county clerk, do it. Because it's unacceptable that they're not going to count my ballot, my vote. I'm a citizen. I am a full citizen. I've been a citizen for 58 years. They have no right not counting my vote, no matter who I vote for. So, folks, do your homework. And we need a corruption-free election. That's what I'm shooting for. So, if you can, if there's place, write my name in on your ballot. Or write whoever you want in on your ballot. If their name is on the ballot already of the people you want, then just mark it. Apparently, in the write-in space, sometimes there's the little oval that you'll have to circle in too. So don't forget to color that in and then write in the name of the person. But if the person's name is already on the ballot, then you just click on that person, or you just color in the circle next to their name. I'm not going to say all Democrats and all Republicans are terrible, but use your best judgment. That's what I want to say to you. You know, it's all about you. And, well, you know, if you've been following me at all, you know that I have some big changes and big plans made to give you more power as the people. But we can't get it done unless I do get in, of course. I mean, I'll try to do it. If I don't get in, I'll try to keep doing it from outside. But it would be easier and quicker if I get inside and get some things done. But yeah, so some states have already started early voting. And we also heard over the weekend that there were already people voting in multiple states that were caught. So, you know, we got so much corruption coming from so many different directions, between the Department of Motor Vehicles having, you know, this system set up that doesn't work for some, but it works for illegal aliens apparently. You know, so this is just there's just computers. As soon as you put computers in, as well as other corrupt people, we just got systems that are full of corruption and fake names and manipulation. So anyway, you know, important right now is to report anything that you know to the FBI. Go to their website, report it. They have a tips area. You go there and you fill out the information and you send it. You can do it anonymously, or you can do it as a known person. But anyways, do it. Let them know what you know, so we can find some justice and get the bad guys. Then let's try to have this election as clean as possible and see what happens. And then hopefully people will be in who have ethics and integrity and will take our country in a good way. That's what we're striving for. And more on that I cannot say, but there are about 10 states that don't allow write-in candidates at all for president. So those states, technically, you cannot vote for me in them. I would like to write a lawsuit saying that that's unconstitutional, because my right as a citizen to run for president is exactly that. I have a right to be a presidential candidate. And by not providing a space for write-in candidates on their ballots, those 10 states, they're preventing me from my citizen rights, but they're also preventing you from your citizen rights, from voting for presidential candidates, for any of them that are out there. So what would be ideal is if some of you folks living in those states that do not allow write-in candidates for president, if you would go and do a lawsuit against your election division and or your state, your Secretary of State, who is in charge usually of the elections, but maybe it should be directed just at the election division, but you say that, your rights are being infringed because you cannot vote for candidates that you want to vote for. And there are candidates that are recognized out there by the Federal Election Commission and by other states. So the fact that you don't have that space to write in their name is unconstitutional. So if you are living in any of those states, I highly recommend you get on that right away if you have the time to make that lawsuit. You go to your federal district court and you hand it in. There's information online how to write a pro se lawsuit, which is what I've done. I'm still learning how the process works, but that's what I've got going with the Supreme Court to change this election system, this thing called registering to vote, because it's unconstitutional. It restricts us from our rights. And then, but you can do it too. I'm just a human being. I'm just like you. I'm just a citizen. I'm not a lawyer. And if I can do it, even with my dyslexia, you can certainly do it too. So you look it up, how to do it, and then you write it, say, look, I want to vote for these people. They're running, but I can't because this space is not provided. And then you have to get that as soon as possible, of course, if you want it to affect this election. You need to get it as soon as possible to your federal district court. Like this week, next week, as soon as possible. And these lawsuits don't take too much time to put together, but use the 14th Amendment because that's the one about liberties, and the states are not allowed to restrict your liberties. And by not providing that space, the election division in your state is preventing you from your liberty of voting for who you want to vote for. So, that would be my suggestion. Normally, these per se lawsuits, you have to pay a court fee, and I think it might be the same in every state, I think. And I'm pretty sure mine, when I filed my first one back in 22, I think it was like $350, $400. So it's not terribly expensive. The most cost you'll eventually end up having is maybe if they return it, and then you have to return it. And so it's time, it's your time, because you'll have to rewrite some things maybe, or change things, and respond to them. Don't let them intimidate you. At the very first time when I got my first lawsuit back, they said, are you sure this is the right court to send it to? Is this the correct jurisdiction? And, being new to all this, I was unsure if that was even the case. I didn't know what I was doing, but I said yes, and I sent it back. So don't let them intimidate you, because they're going to try. They're lawyers. They're going to try everything in the book to stop you from succeeding. But just keep going at it, and keep, trying to push through, because the Democrats and Republicans, they've stolen our rights, and they've made all these laws to restrict us, and it's time to stop. Now we can do it through the laws. We don't have to resort to violence or intimidation or anything like that. We can do it through the laws, but I can't do it alone. I can do some, but I can't do it all. So I need your help. I need you to go in and learn how to do a pro se lawsuit to the federal courts. I can see if I can find a link, and I'll put it in the comments here so that you could go to it. Sometimes I found some information in California and in other states that was helpful for me when I was writing my lawsuit. So, just because you're in Mississippi doesn't mean that you can only use the information in Mississippi. You can use it from other states to put your lawsuit together. So just give it a try. It's not terribly expensive, and it could help you and your neighbors and your state and the United States. So yeah, so that's where we are, folks. That's what I would recommend as far as the election goes. it's a tough one. We got a lot of crazy things going on. And like I said, we can send billions to the Ukraine and billions to Israel. But when it comes to our own people, what's going on? They're saying, oh, sorry, you don't have insurance, or sorry, we can't pay for a new house for you. I mean, is this really who we have become? And if this is acceptable behavior for you, then you don't have to watch my videos anymore. But if this is not acceptable, then these are the options we have. Don't vote Democrat or Republican anymore, because they are in it for Israel. They're in it for Ukraine, but they're not in it for you. And they're not in it for me, and they're not in it for your neighbor. They're in it for what's best for their pocket. So, I wish this could be more upbeat. I'm really sorry. I don't like being so pessimistic week after week. But, reality is here, and we're watching it. So those in the hurricane zones from last week and this coming one, be careful. Be smart. And do your best. I know in the recovery zone it's going slow, and I hope we can get maybe people there. I would think the National Guard could be called in. I don't know what exactly is going on. And then those who are in the midst of the hurricane coming now, if you can, get out of harm's way as best you can. And I guess that's all I can say. If you ever have any questions, please put them in the comments, and I'll do my best to answer them. Yeah, so that's about it. My name is Susan Maud Buchser-Lochocki. I am running for President of the United States as a write-in candidate. So in like 40 states, you can write me in. And District of Columbia also, I believe. But there are 10 states that you cannot currently, and I've tried to approach the people about different ways. They're not changing their ways. So we need to sue those states so that they might change their ways. The minimum you have to write in to have it recognized as me as a candidate is Susan Buchser. So that's Susan, S-U-S-A-N, and Buchser is B-U-C-H-S, like Susan, E-R. And you see that on my Facebook page, so you see exactly how to spell my name. So that's the minimum you have to put in, so that I will be recognized as the person you voted for. And don't forget to circle in the little dot next to my name. And if there's a place for a vice president, you can pick from the vice presidents on the vice president list, or you can leave it blank. Or there's also, I started a Facebook page where, a Facebook group about write-in candidates. And somebody made a list of 4 other write-in presidential candidates and their vice presidents. So any one of those vice presidents would also be good. So anyone who is a vice president, you could write in for me, or anyone who is not running for any office, you could put their name in. So if you know somebody who you would like to see as vice president that is not currently labeled a vice president, you could write their name in too. In fact, you could write your own name in along with my name, and you could be my vice president. So anyway, that's how it works, folks. So it's Susan Buchser is the minimum. You can write all the names in if you really want, but it might be easier just to keep it simple for counting purposes down to Susan Buchser, so that they can figure it out and find it, and there's no question then about your vote. And or if you vote for somebody else, just vote for somebody you feel is going to do the right job for the next 4 years. All right. And on that note, I'm going to go. My website, if you want to find out, if you don't already know what I'm doing for you with the lawsuit with the Supreme Court, go to Susan4USA.com. That's Susan, the number 4, USA.com. and there you will find the details about the lawsuit, and my plan of what I've experienced is a good way to vote that is very low fraud and low manipulation. Okay. Thank you for stopping by. I wish you a good day wherever you are. Bye for now.